Dynamic feature is a new feature where you can actually go ahead and change a bunch of settings like brake bias, steering angle, dampening, decay, stiffness, and more dampening, which leads a lot of people to wonder, what the heck does any of this actually mean? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be explaining exactly what everything here actually does and how you can use it to get the best driving experience out of your motor vehicle. Starting off with brake bias. Huge shout out to game developer pointclouded for making this video possible. Now it's time to explain what brake bias actually is. Brake bias is the ratio of the front and rear brake force. In really simple terms, which wheels are actually helping your car to slow down to a stop. In Greenville, this is read as front and rear. A good area to keep this for regular cars is 60-40 or 70-30, while performance cars could see a benefit from 40-60. It is generally not advisable to have it as 100-0 or 0-100. It could cause your car to have worse braking performance and cause your tires to squeal. However, this might be good for people who like to drift though. For who already don't know, I'm going to explain what this means. RWD, AWD, and FWD, rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, all wheel drive, basically lets you select what wheels get powered by the engine. Rear wheel drive, you get the rear wheels powering from the engine. All wheel drive, all the wheels will be powering, and front wheel drive is just the front wheels being powered. If you want a drift car, you're going to always want rear wheel drive. All wheel drive is more for off-roading and best handling, and front wheel drive is just something economical and simple. Steer angle is mostly for people who either want to improve cornering or want to get better angles if they're making drift builds. In a future update, I'll be able to replace the percents with degrees of steering, so people can dial in exactly what they want. If you want just a regular car, you can leave it to plus or minus 15% or just leave it alone. If you want to drift, start at 100% and work your way down from there. I generally do not recommend people reach minus 100% at all, but it is there if you wish. Anyone who's worked with A chassis cars, especially drifters, knows what this does, and this is the exact same in here. You could think of steer damping as a responsiveness value against the car's steering angle and forces from the road. It behaves a bit interestingly. The lower it is, the slower the car might respond to your steering inputs, but the smoother it will be when reacting to the road's forces like friction. This makes it really good for drifting. The higher it is, the more precise and responsive your steering input might be, at the trade-off of it being quite literally precise. This is best for people who want better responsiveness with their car, but do be cautious, as if you overdo it and aren't careful with your driving, then you might slide unintentionally. And by the way, this is highly recommended for people who use a controller or wheel. If you are a mobile or keyboard player who just wants a normal car that isn't meant for drifting, you are better off leaving this alone and having it from plus or minus 15%. Steer decay relates to how quickly the steering tightens up when you're at speed. In an example, when you're going on the highway at 120 miles per hour, you only want to do small corrections to your steering wheel so you move but don't lose control of your car. Steer decay changes when the transition point from 100% steering to minimal movement steering happens, which is usually preferred by drifters. If you want to have a drift setup, I entirely recommend starting from 100% and working your way down until you find a value that works for you. It will allow you to have the most angle you can no matter what speed you're going at, although it will make you lose some degrees of angle the faster you go. If you want a normal setup, leave the value as it is unless you absolutely know what you're doing. I genuinely wouldn't recommend moving the value in the negatives unless if you usually lose control in a high powered car because you have a keyboard or mobile driving setup, which in case going 25% negative or more here and having a negative steering damping would make your car genuinely more controllable if you don't have a dedicated controller. Now time to explain what suspension stiffness is. And thank you to GT86 Pro for helping pointclouded get his head around it. Suspension stiffness is self-explanatory, how stiff the springs are in your suspension setup. However, you could alternatively think of this of how much weight the springs can hold up by itself. This highly affects ride height as a result. If you want to have a racing or drifting setup, I'd only increase this by 25% to 40%. But generally speaking, performance vehicles have stiffer suspension, which is where this value would come more into play in regards to that. If you just want a regular setup, I'd leave this value as is and genuinely would not recommend going extremely in the negatives. If you are aiming for a bagged or VIP look, I'd recommend setting this between 35 to 15% minus, but you can play around with this. Just know that the less stiff the spring is, the less responsive your suspension would be. And here's another well-deserved W to GT86 Row for helping him with the concept of this as well. Suspension damping can be closely compared to how floaty your car is in relation to the road and shocks it'll get. Basically, if you want to float like an ultra luxury sedan, you'll want to lower the damping. If you need to, lower the suspension stiffness, and you should have a soft, luxurious suspension setup. Do note that this suspension setup is considered opposite of performance, as it also increases roll. It can also be really good for off-roading, and if you want to make corners all nicely, increasing the damping plus the increasing stiffness results in a better performance oriented setup that's perfect for smooth roads and corners. This is the opposite of luxurious, as you'll be wanting to fuel every bar. And if you want to learn more, follow GT86 Row's guide, which has been updated over the hours and now includes a nice guide on what everything does and how to tune or desired setups. And now it's time to show you what the perfect cars look like. For a luxury car, this is exactly what you might be looking for. If you want a drift vehicle, this is exactly what I would get. And if you want a normal daily driver, just leave it as normal or have fun with it. It's all up to your personal preference, and that goes for basically every different type of vehicle you want to get. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a full explanation on how this thing works. Make sure you like, subscribe, because we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before summer ends. Thank you so much for 1,000 followers on TikTok, it really means a lot. And until next time, see you.